Recently, the leaders of the Catoosa County Republican Party made a decision to ensure that voters are not deceived by candidates that try to call themselves Republican but have a record of governing like Democrats. The local Republican leadership interviewed the candidates and closely examined their voting records, then took a vote on whether to allow each of the candidates to be labeled as a Republican in the upcoming primary election. Most of the candidates were accepted, but 4 of them didn't pass muster. And when they showed up to qualify for office as a Republican, they were politely denied. These 4 candidates have a history of governing like Democrats.
You can still run. You can run. You just can't run as a Republican.
But instead, they are now suing the local party leaders in an attempt to force their way onto the Republican ballot.
These commissioners who have served in the past, they've seen their voting record. They've seen them do things that a lot of folks do not consider Republican. They're not consistent with the Republican Party platform. Raising taxes twice, telling people they can't raise chickens, saying that, you can have your freedom back if you get a vaccine.
Vaccination is the key to getting your freedom back.
That's exactly right.
If you're worried about government control, get out of the health emergency, because that's the only true control. And the only way to do that is to get vaccinated.
These kinds of things, we believe, go against the principles and the explicit policy statements of the Republican Party platform.
What if the candidate has a history of raising taxes and wasteful government spending?
Y'all act like when we spend money that we're spending your money personal, and we're not.
That is our money. You're our elected officials to spend our money in a reasonable way, yet you take umbrage with the fact that we might stand up here and want you to hold you accountable.
What if an incumbent commissioner voted to restrict your right to raise chickens?
There's a vote in the commission yesterday. What happened in the vote, and what's ahead for owning chickens?
Tuesday night, the county commission voted 3-1 to restrict property rights.
What does the ordinance say?
The ordinance restricts the number of chickens in residential zones. And when I say chickens, let me clarify, hens. Roosters are not allowed now. So chickens can't free range in your backyard, even if your backyard is fenced. Not allowed to sell eggs or breed chickens for sale. And that's not just in residential zones.
What if a candidate has a reputation for being heavy-handed with citizens at commission meetings?
When a friend and business partner of Mr. Henry, and also his biggest donor to his political campaign.
Actually, I want to go ahead and stop you because I don't want you to sit up there and lie. So if you got,
I was at the meeting.
No,
this is my 5 minutes.
This is my room, and you cannot get up here and blast other people.
Is this my 5 minutes?
He is not my biggest donor.
You hate to hear the truth.
No, you're a liar. You're a bald-faced liar.
What is a lie about this? What is a lie about
Pull
this?
my campaign report.
You're involved with the vineyards. The gentleman here is your biggest campaign contributor.
Stick to topics that do with the county, or I'm going to have you escorted out.
Well, you may have me escorted out, but
I may have you escorted out.
You are afraid because this is the truth.
I'm not afraid of nothing.
It is corruption, and that's what I'm after.
If you want to talk about county business, please.
This is county business.
Continue on.
Corruption that's part of the county is county business.
You're going to leave.
I'm just a Catoosa County resident who wants the freedom to raise my family, raise chickens, and not pay too much in taxes.
What about a candidate who recently made a public endorsement of a well-known Democrat who holds office in the Democrat Party?
What makes them qualified to determine what a Republican is?
GOP leaders like Joanna Hildreth and her team are elected by the people at the Republican County Convention, and they have a responsibility to ensure that the candidates on the Republican ballot truly reflect what voters expect from a Republican.
I don't pay too much attention to local politics, unfortunately, and that's why I really appreciate the local GOP keeping these people accountable and making sure that only true Republicans are actually on the ballot.
They are the gatekeepers who keep people informed, protect the Republican brand, and protect uninformed voters from being deceived by fake politicians who call themselves Republican. The Catoosa County Republican Party leadership is exercising their constitutional right to freedom of association, and they are fighting hard to preserve that right. Freedom of association means that the government cannot force a private entity to associate with someone against their will. The Catoosa GOP leaders are all volunteers, and they are courageously facing massive fines and legal fees as a result of this lawsuit. They have a stellar team of liberty-loving attorneys who are donating their time to help the cause, but there are various other legal costs that are adding up. Judge Thompson ordered the GOP officers to pay $1,000 per hour for every candidate they rejected for every executive committee member until the qualifying week ended, which could add up to nearly $200,000.
The order that the court did enter today ended up actually, we think, violating state law.
There's going to be appeals filed, of course, and I expect that the judge's behavior is going to be overturned.
The officers of the Catoosa GOP simply want to do their duty and serve their community well so you can live in freedom. Will you help them?